Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB and today is the 21st of July 2022. It's the last day of the week for crypto and coffee at 8. Tomorrow, that is Friday, we have Metaverse Everything, where we talk everything about Metaverse. And tomorrow, we also have an event at 11 a.m. Gulf Standard Time called as Metaverse, the Hype, Reality and New World Order. So please feel free to attend that event. The market does look pretty good in comparison to the last previous weeks, months and the first half of this year. It is the last day of the Ethereum Community Conference, so I'll be very keen to see the price of Ethereum, Ethereum Classic and Polygon Matic tomorrow or maybe even later on in the day and especially in the weekend. Today's episode we're going to be starting with some really positive news about the technology and the power of Bitcoin and open source. Now, using open source and transparency that Bitcoin offers, the U.S. Department of Justice was able to seize and forfeit approximately $500,000 from ransomware actors. So we'll be explaining that in today's episode. Fake news currently is being circulated by Bitcoin Magazine and quite a lot of people on Twitter, and it shows a video of Chinese military with tanks, and it shows as though that they're trying to stop people from withdrawing funds from the bank account. 100% fake news, and I'm really not surprised that Bitcoin Magazine has published this video. It is fake news, fake title. The video is completely fake. As a matter of fact, the video has nothing to do with the banking system at all. So we'll be explaining that in today's episode. We also have some good news about USDC, that is Circle's stablecoin. And we're also going to be talking about some updates regarding Terra Luna, some really interesting information on what the South Korean authorities are doing about it. Definitely not good if you're Dokon, and extremely worrisome. Regarding UAE, we have two news. The first news is Singapore's Fintonia secures provisional virtual asset license from Dubai's VARA, that is Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority. To be honest, I do not know much about them, and I haven't heard of them, but seems to be that they are catering to high net worthy individuals, and they have some really interesting products called as the Bitcoin Physical Fund and Secured Yield Fund. So we'll be exploring that in today's episode, but we're going to be exploring it at a very basic level. The next news is to do with Blockchain DXB. There is going to be an addition to the Blockchain DXB podcast, a new series of episodes on crypto terminologies and two standalone episodes. So I'll be explaining that in today's episode. The standalone episode is about a Pentagon paper which questions the distributed nature of blockchain, and they have found some of the protocols are really not decentralized or distributed, and they are fairly centralized. So if you have any thoughts or have any suggestions on that topic, or if you are a person who's working on the protocols, please drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb. I'll be more than happy to discuss it with you and probably add it in my podcast too. The next standalone episode is about Dubai Metaverse strategy, something which I discussed in yesterday's episode. So welcome everyone, it's 8 a.m. You're in Dubai and you're listening to Crypto and Coffee at 8, where we cover top news and information pertaining to Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi and Metaverse. How the series of episodes on the Crypto and Coffee at 8 works is, we usually cover some top news and information pertaining to the price of cryptocurrencies, some major breaking news and occasionally short and sweet news as well. News that has an impact in the cryptocurrency world. The other two news and information is related to Dubai, UAE and Middle East in the world of Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi and Metaverse. This is followed by Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions from 8:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. Gulf Standard Time from the cryptocurrency world. Tomorrow, that is Friday, at 8 a.m. Gulf Standard Time, we also have an episode called Metaverse Everything, where we solely focus on Metaverse. So please check out those episodes too. The format for Metaverse Everything podcast is completely different. And what I tend to do is I tend to write a daily and a weekly report via my LinkedIn profile. So please follow me via my LinkedIn profile. My LinkedIn profile is in the show notes below. Alternatively, you can also go to the Medium website and type in Blockchain DXB. So let's kickstart today's episode. Now the market does look relatively better in comparison to the previous weeks, months and the first half of 2022. The global crypto market is currently at $1.06 trillion. And since the last 24 hours, it is marginally up by 0.05%. The total crypto market volume over the last 24 hours is currently at $90.48 billion. Since the last 24 hours, it is down by 17.14%. The total volume in DeFi is currently at $8.11 billion. And yesterday, CoinMarketCap had changed the matrix, because of which I could not tell you what percentage of DeFi does it account for. As of today, DeFi accounts for 8.96% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. This volume of stablecoins now is at $81.41 billion, and stablecoin accounts for 89.98% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. The price of Bitcoin, the king of all kings, is currently at $23,096. But since the last few hours, the price of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Binance, and a lot of cryptocurrencies have been going down. Now, the price of Bitcoin since the last 24 hours is marginally down by 0.69%, but since the last 7 days, it is up by 17.58%. Ethereum is currently at $1,505. Now, just a few hours ago, the price was hovering around $1,600, so nearly $100 has been wiped off from the price of Ethereum. Since the last 24 hours, it is down by 3.29%, but over a period of 7 days, it is up by 39.77%. And this is again going back to the whole notion of buy the rumor, sell the news. Ever since the rumor of Ethereum merge was announced, the price of Ethereum and a lot of protocols that are linked to Ethereum, that is Ethereum Classic, Polygon Matic, did actually shoot up, which we'll be discussing pretty soon as well. Binance Coin is currently at $258, and it is down by 4.55% since the last 24 hours. Since the last 7 days, it is up by 14.92%. Let's quickly look at what's going on with Ethereum Classic and Polygon Matic. Ethereum Classic is down by 4.28%, so the whole notion of buy the rumor, sell the news definitely seems to be holding true. And since the last 7 days, Ethereum Classic is down by 73.97%. Just a few hours ago, it was well over 84%. Polygon Matic, since the last 24 hours, is down by 9.22%. And if you look at the price of Polygon Matic since the last 7 days, it is up by 46.30%, but it has been going down. So this whole notion of buy the rumor, sell the news definitely seems to be true. What I'm doing is I'm also looking at the cryptocurrency platforms since the last 24 hours. All of them seems to be red. Looks like the dump is definitely taking place, something which I talked about on the first day of the Ethereum Community Conference, is that whenever there is an announcement, the price tends to pump, and I was quite keen on checking the price of Ethereum and other cryptocurrencies on the 21st. I'm looking at the price at the early morning hours in Dubai, and it is still the 20th in US and in Europe. Most likely the prices will tend to go down. It would be really interesting to see the price later on in the day on the 21st of July as per UK and US time. Now, as I mentioned, our price predictions are 100% right 50% of the time. Overall, the cryptocurrency market does look good, but I am hoping that the price would actually go down. The big news for today, which is circulating in LinkedIn and mainstream media, is that the U.S. Department of Justice has seized and forfeited approximately $500,000 from North Korean ransomware actors and the conspirators. BBC, one of the leading left-wing channels from UK, did actually publish an article. The official information can be found directly from the US Department of Justice, which gives a completely different, should I say, a more accurate picture. The news from the US Department of Justice does say that $100,000 from an attack which took place in Kansas last year and $120,000 from an attack that took place this year in Colorado have been returned. And the reason they have been returned, because these transactions were in Bitcoin. So the FBI, that is the Federal Bureau of Investigation, were able to identify never before seen North Korean ransomware and trace the cryptocurrency to China-based money launderers. It would be really interesting to know how did they actually find it out. As per the article via BBC, it does not give information of how did they find it out. Neither does the article via FBI and the US Department of Justice give out any information. Most likely there might have been an exit point, and that is where the role of cryptocurrency exchange kicks in. These cryptocurrency exchanges, they tend to have KYC. When the funds has been transferred to the cryptocurrency exchange, the FBI and the US Department of Justice may have been notified about it. And because the funds are in the hands of cryptocurrency exchange, the US Department of Justice could actually seize and forfeit it from the cryptocurrency exchange. I'd be really curious to know which cryptocurrency has been involved. Most likely it's got to be Coinbase because they are one of the leading exchanges in US, or it just might be Kraken. I don't think so it would be Binance US, because if that's the case they would have definitely published it out. There are also tools that governments can be using in order to track these transactions. By this point of time, I hope you guys know that all of the Bitcoin transactions are completely open source. It is in fact one of the features of Bitcoin. But using forensic investigation, firms like Elliptic Chain Analysis, they are able to find out more detailed information. So I'm pretty much sure that the US Department of Justice is currently working either with Elliptic or with Chain Analysis. The next news, and very disappointing news, is by Bitcoin Magazine. Extremely disappointed, but not surprised by Bitcoin Magazine, because in the past they have been providing fake news. Bitcoin Magazine posted a video on Twitter, and it was a video that shows Chinese military tanks roaming around in the streets, and this is as per evening time. What they did in that article, they wrote, the Chinese government is protecting banks with tanks from people after declaring that they cannot withdraw their money. 100% fake news. The original video did actually take place on the 16th of July, and the original video is actually a Navy-based training on the road. Most likely that training was done for the public. Definitely terrible notion from Bitcoin Magazine to go ahead and do that. Because of that, a lot of people have retweeted it, and they are putting this notion that Bitcoin is the solution and the governments cannot go ahead and ban your currency. So definitely not right from Bitcoin Magazine. We at Blockchain DXB very strongly feel in a world where we live right now, there is so much of information. Having a lot of information is not important. Having information from the first source is. And in one of the podcasts a few weeks ago, someone did actually ask me how do I get my source of information, and I very clearly told him that it's not important to have a lot of information, but getting information from the first source is so critical. Ray Dalio, one of the legendary investors, in his LinkedIn post, he has also mentioned that mainstream media is making it extremely difficult for an average citizen to get information from first source. The next news is not your keys, not your crypto. Before moving on to that, I'd like to remind you guys once again about the second line of the Bitcoin white paper. It reads, the main benefits are lost if a trusted third party is still required to prevent double spending. This is the very second line of the Bitcoin white paper. Now let's move on to the news. Anthony Scaramucci's Skybridge Capital has suspended withdrawals from its Legion Strategies fund. And this is to do with one of its funds with crypto and private stock exposure. And the reason they have done that is because there is a sharp decline in the price of assets. Anthony Scaramucci did actually assure his investors by saying that these are only temporary suspensions and zero risk of any asset liquidation. Again, this just means that not your keys, not your crypto. It's really critical to understand the legal jurisdiction. Most likely, Anthony Scaramucci and Skybridge Capital have been following legal procedures, so that definitely seems to be fine. But when it comes to Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, make sure that you have your own key so that your funds are not stopped from withdrawal. And ironic that this is in relation to a fake news which is published by Bitcoin Magazine, yet we at Bitcoin and cryptocurrency tend to do the exact same thing. Decrypt has published an article which explains and gives more information on why the decision by Skybridge Capital has been done. And there is an interview of Anthony Scaramucci via Bloomberg as well. So the links are in my LinkedIn profile. You're more than welcome to go and get information from the first official source. We also have some news about USDC. Since the last quarter of 2021, the volume has been gradually increasing. As of today, Circle's USDC, which is the stable coin, the 24-hour volume is at $8.5 billion. I really am not sure I've seen it that high. Last week when we looked at it, it was at $5 billion. And just few days ago, it went up to $6 billion. So looks like Circle USDC is definitely gaining a lot of momentum. CoinDesk has written an excellent article that talks about how Circle's cautious USDC approach has finally paid off despite missteps. In that article, it talks about the history since 2013 and how it focused on transparency and oversight. They've also made some good comparison with Tether USDT, particularly Tether's USDT and its relationship with Bitfinex. So go through CoinDesk. They have written a very good and really informative article. The 24-hour volume of USDC has definitely been increasing, and something which I've been noticing going back to the last quarter of 2021. And few months ago, I also talked about that firms, even in UAE, who have been accepting cryptocurrencies, are switching from USDT to USDC. So definitely good news. The next news is about Terra Luna. At this point of time, I'm pretty much sure everyone knows what the status of Terra Luna is. Cointelegraph has reported that the South Korean authorities are raiding 15 entities linked to Terra Luna's collapse. So some of the names that they have mentioned is Upbit, BitThumb, CoinOne, Corbit, and Copax. So they've written an article which is in South Korean, so you might have to translate it into English. According to the article, prosecutors in South Korea behind the investigation of Terraform Labs have reportedly executed a search and seizure in 15 firms, including 7 cryptocurrency exchanges. So I'm not sure what to make out of it. Is it a good thing that they find out some mischievous characters behind it, or will that make any difference? Because at the end of the day, the funds have completely gone, and I really hope that people who have suffered from this, they do find some kind of comfort. Let's move on to news about UAE. Singapore's Fintonia has secured provisional license from Dubai's Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority. So I'm going to give some information about Fintonia. They're based in Singapore, and the website is fintoniagroup.com. Fintonia Group is a financial services firm providing funds management, wealth management, and merchant banking solutions to institutional clients and entrepreneurs. Fintonia Group manages a diverse range of digital asset offerings. They have something called as Fintonia Bitcoin Physical Fund. I have never heard of it ever. I think what it is an institutional grade fund that buys and holds Bitcoin. I'm just looking at this information directly from that website, and based on the website, what it says is it is an open-ended fund that provides accredited investors with secure and cost-efficient access to Bitcoin while providing a safe and efficient method of securing the Bitcoin. What happens, let's say, if Fintonia goes belly up? Is it the same situation as Skybridge Capital? I really am not sure. The website also says that investors can subscribe into the fund via transferring their holdings of Bitcoin. That is exactly what the second line of Bitcoin white paper reads. It says that the main benefits are lost if a central intermediary is required to prevent double spending. Anyways, let's look at the next product that they have. It is called as Fintonia Secured Yield Fund. It is for accredited investors, access to loans which are secured by liquid digital assets. It lends money to borrowers and takes collateral security in the form of Bitcoin, generating an attractive risk-adjusted return for investors. And on the website, they also have a service, a treasury and balance sheet management services. Definitely looks like they're catering to the high net worthy individuals. So Fintonia Group announced that it has secured a provisional virtual asset license granted by Dubai Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority. The license allows Fintonia to participate in Dubai's digital asset ecosystem by operating crypto-native services under fully regulatory supervision. and the firm aims to tap a huge number of UAE residents who are interested in investing in cryptocurrencies. And Fintonia said that it expects to expand its team in Dubai as well as provide tailored treasury and balance sheet management services to token foundations, protocols, Bitcoin miners, and other holders of digital assets. I'll be really quite interested to see what does the treasury and balance sheet management actually looks like, because I do get a lot of clients who are quite keen on trying to find out about the management services, the token foundation, and also are getting into Bitcoin. Them moving into Dubai is definitely great. At the same time, there is very strong competition in Dubai and in UAE. For customers, what does that mean? It just means better quality at cheaper prices. Fintonia's founder, that is Adrian Shang, has said Dubai is making significant strides towards establishing itself as a virtual assets hub and creating conducive environment for the industry's growth, and we are very pleased to be part of this rapid growth. The virtual asset license marks an important milestone in our aspiration to have a presence in every region where there are innovative Web 3.0 and crypto companies, enabling us to connect and collaborate with members of the crypto native ecosystem and the traditional financial services. Hilal Saeed Al-Mauri, who is the Director General of the World Trade Center Authority, has said, "We welcome the Fintonia Group to our licensing program, even as we may look to enable the most responsible and innovative global participants in the virtual asset ecosystem. We look forward to engaging with Fintonia to build thought leadership for the virtual asset industry and the active contribution to facilitating Wara's regime drive the next phase of maturity for the sector." So it looks like they're definitely catering to high net worthy individuals. Definitely a great move of moving into Dubai. The next news is about Blockchain DXB. Monday to Thursdays, I have Crypto and Coffee at 8. Fridays, I have Metaverse Everything podcast. In today's episode, I'm going to be discussing few additions to the Blockchain podcast. The first one is a series of podcasts that focuses on crypto terminologies. The second one is a Pentagon white paper. It's most likely going to be just a one-off episode. On Saturday, I'm going to be releasing another one-off episode on Dubai Metaverse strategy. So let's look at the series that I plan to have on crypto terminologies. It's going to be called as hashtag Back to Basics. So my whole idea is to have basic terminologies explained either by me or by one of the guest speakers. So we're going to be explaining 5 basic terminologies of Bitcoin, 5 advanced terminologies of Bitcoin, 5 technical terminologies of Bitcoin, and we're going to be doing the same thing for blockchain protocols, that is Ethereum, EOS, Avalanche, and upcoming protocols such as Solana, and quite a lot more. We'll be doing the exact same thing for cryptocurrencies. There are numerous types of cryptocurrencies. So again, 5 basic terminologies, 5 advanced terminologies, and 5 technical terminologies. In these series, there's also going to be sub-series that's going to be focusing on privacy coins, let's say like Zcash, Monero, Dash, just something which I just recently heard about in a meetup that I attended last week, and also on stable coins, the different type of stable coins. We'll also dwell into algorithmic stable coins. Again, the same concept, 5 basic terminologies, 5 advanced terminologies, and 5 technical terminologies. The same thing for NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse as well. In case if you guys do want to participate or chime in or want to be a co-host, please feel free to drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. The goal of the hashtag Back to Basics series is to educate the people on the basics of Bitcoin, blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse technology. The one-off session that I plan to have is about a document which was released by Pentagon, and the document is called as Are Blockchain Decentralized? Unintended Centralities in Distributed Ledger. Pentagon finds concerning vulnerabilities on blockchain. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be releasing a standalone episode, and I'm going to be discussing the detailed analysis of the document, the pros and cons. I'm going to be uncovering some truth. I'm going to be highlighting some legitimate concerns that they may have, try to find out some errors or misunderstandings in the report, and I'll share my commentary. If you guys have any thoughts or suggestions, more than welcome to give in your inputs. just drop me an email to info@Blockchain DXB. And the final one is a one-off episode on Dubai Metaverse strategy. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be having an in-depth analysis and looking at the impact on the economy, the political influence for having Dubai Metaverse strategy or lack thereof. And I'll be discussing what does this mean for business, what approach that needs to be taken now in order to be part of the Metaverse strategy. I'll be explaining what the Dubai Metaverse Assembly is and how you can be a part of it. I'll also be sharing some information on the events and the future roadmap of Dubai Metaverse strategy. So that's all for today, guys, from the Crypto and Coffee at 8 from Blockchain DXB. In case if you guys have any feedback or suggestions, please drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. Please check out my website, that is www.blockchaindxb.com, and you can also check out my other website, that is area2071.com, that talks everything about Metaverse. If you like listening to this, please follow this podcast, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. Now for the next 30 minutes, it's going to be an Ask Me Anything series where you listeners can ask any questions about Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So let's kickstart the Ask Me Anything series. Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB. You're listening to the Ask Me Anything series where you listeners can ask any questions about Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. Remember, Monday to Thursdays, 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m., we have Crypto and Coffee at 8, where we cover top news and information pertaining to Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. This is followed by 2 news and information related to Dubai, UAE, and Middle East from the cryptocurrency world. What you're listening to right now is the Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions about Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. I have a first question by Kaleem, who asks, is Binance better than Coinbase? Kaleem, is Binance bigger than Coinbase? 100% yes. It might be like 6 or 8 times bigger than Coinbase, and Coinbase might just be the second or the third biggest exchange in the world. I'm not sure if Kraken might be the second biggest exchange in the world. Is it bigger? 100% yes. Is it better? I really am not sure. The reason being, Kaleem, I've not heard good reviews about Coinbase, but at the same time, personally, I haven't experienced Coinbase, so I could give you an accurate assessment only if I have experienced Coinbase firsthand. Based on the reviews and based on the YouTube videos, I do see that there's a lot of complaints from Coinbase, a lot of customer complaints, a lot of negative things about Coinbase. Binance, on the other hand, I have not heard any negative reviews as such. Now, regarding Binance, going back to 2018 and 2019, after the whole ICO craze, there were a lot of crypto startups, a lot of blockchain protocols that were accusing Binance of asking money in order to get listed on the exchange. Justin Sun from Tron was one of them, and he had a massive beef with CZ back then, and a lot of protocols did try to make videos accusing CZ and Binance to actually ask money in order to go ahead and get listed on an exchange. Personally, I think Binance is better. I could be 100% wrong though, because I do not have any experience on how Coinbase is. It could be possible that Coinbase also has the operation in Dubai. Once they start, then I might be able to give some information about Coinbase, so I do not want to give out any wrong information. Recently, there was an article which was published by Glassnode, and as per the data, it did actually say Binance has more Bitcoins than Coinbase. They published an article a few days ago, and based on the data from the 18th of July, Binance did have more Bitcoins than Coinbase, so it has the most Bitcoins than any other cryptocurrency exchange in the world. And since the start of 2020, Binance has seen a gradual increase in their Bitcoin holdings. And apart from that, Binance currently has more than 600 different types of cryptocurrencies. So Binance, Kaleem, is absolutely massive. Let me look at in terms of US, because they have a different entity in US. Now I'm looking at the system, and Binance in US is called as Binance U.S. And over there, they only have 80 different types of cryptocurrencies, whereas Coinbase has over 150 different types of cryptocurrencies. One of the problems which did actually take place in Coinbase last year was that they were adding a lot of unknown coins onto the exchange. And Coinbase kind of had this brand image of being elite and kind of nice, but that went completely down the drain when they started to have a lot of altcoins, a lot of not so good coins onto the exchange. So to answer your question, Kaleem, Binance is definitely bigger. Is it better? I really don't know. So that's all for today, guys, from the Ask Me Anything series from Blockchain DXB. In case if you guys have any feedback or suggestions, please drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. And please check out my website, that is www.blockchaindxb.com, and also check out my other website, that is area2071.com. Tomorrow we're going to be having Metaverse Everything podcast, so a lot of the information will be available on area2071.com. If you like listening to this, please follow this podcast, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. And remember, Monday to Thursdays, 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m., we have Crypto and Coffee at 8, where we cover top news and information pertaining to Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And how the series of episodes under Crypto and Coffee at 8 works is, we usually cover some top news and information pertaining to the price of cryptocurrencies, some major breaking news, occasionally short and sweet news as well, news that has an impact in the cryptocurrency world. The other two news and information is related to Dubai, UAE, and Middle East from the cryptocurrency world. This is followed by Ask Me Anything series that you're listening to right now, where you listeners can ask any questions about Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. Thanks so much for listening, guys, and have a great day ahead. Bye-bye.